In today's video, we're going to talk about how to become an REO real estate agent. Now, you might be someone that is already an agent or thinking about becoming an agent. And if you are an agent already, you might be interested in adding a new niche to your portfolio. This niche type of product with lending with REO properties, with banks and lenders being the owners. You're also maybe wondering, how do you become a certified REO agent? Becoming an REO, which stands for real estate owned real estate agent, involves developing expertise in helping banks and lenders sell foreclosed properties. In today's video, we're going to share a step-by-step guide how to become an REO agent. And then in the second half of the video, we're going to share the key traits of becoming a successful REO agent. So by the end of this video, you'll learn and you can implement the steps we share to establish yourself as an expert in the REO field. You can build a successful career as an REO real estate agent. And me and Paul, we've been dealing with REO properties for decades, working with agents. Paul's an agent himself. So we're going to just kind of take you behind the scenes and share what we learned over the years. We're going to start off with first is the purpose of this video is assuming that everyone's already licensed real estate agent. If you're not, banks are not going to want to work with you. So step one, if you're not already and you're watching this, is get a license as a real estate agent. Every state's different. So you want to research what your state's requirements are, such as age, education, and then you're going to have to pass the real estate exam, and then you're going to have to activate your license by joining a real estate brokerage in your area. And then, once you're a real estate agent, what's your experience? Because as I mentioned earlier, banks want to work with experienced agents and not someone new, someone with a track record they want to work with. So make sure you demonstrate the work you're doing with buyers and sellers, that you have a strong understanding of the local real estate market and the transaction process. You want to build your network of other real estate professionals, brokers, etc. And then ultimately, you want to become an expert and learn about the foreclosure process. You want to familiarize yourself with the foreclosure process, what REOs are. We have other videos that we've talked about on, what is an REO and then basically explaining the foreclosure process from A to Z. So feel free to check them out. I'll put the link in the show notes below. So that's kind of the level setting of everyone on the expectations before we kind of move into the meat and potatoes of the video. So that's, once you're an agent, you have a track record and you realize you want to become an REO agent working with the banks. The first thing you want to do is really develop relationships with lenders and register for some of these REO asset management companies. Paul, do you want to kind of share some of your experience that you had dealing with these in the past?
Yeah, I've made a ton of great relationships with the REO agents over the years and done repeat business, as you well know, Mike, with so many of them, whether it's ones in Pennsylvania, whether it's ones in Wyoming and also in Arizona. These relationships are huge. Becoming an REO agent is something that I know a few other investor friends of mine have done, and it can be tedious, but once you get it and you're getting a lot of properties, there's a lot of potential. It is a lot more work than a standard traditional listing, but also great opportunities and lots of investors you can work with. So it just opens up the buyer pool for you for sure.
Yeah. What's your experience working with the different REO platforms? Because if someone wants to be an REO agent, they got to register with some of these called asset management type of REO platforms. There's HUD Home Store out there. There's res.net, etc. I've heard, maybe walk through people, what you have to do with regards to credentials, experience, references by signing up on those platforms.
Yeah, and it's not just signing up. And Steve Trang, this friend of mine who got to be a licensed REO agent, he actually went to the company physical building after emailing and phone calls to try to get in there, just to show he was being persistent. And that's what got him in the door.
I'll get someone's attention.
Right. I see. You got to do it. You got to get somebody's attention. It's more than just throwing your stuff out there and hoping for a call. You really got to be proactive and really be pushing to try to you want to knock the door in and say, hey, look, I'm very, very interested in this. And this is something I really want to do. And I know it's not easy work. I know there's a lot of tedious work. And I know I got to go out weekly and take pictures of the property and give updates, property report updates and all this. And that's what they're looking for. People who are proactive, who are going to be doing a lot more than a typical agent does when they just list it, let it go and then don't visit the property because they don't have to on a traditional listing, right? So it's a whole different animal. So you really want to get in front of these people as much as you can. Email them, maybe set up reminders to email weekly, to call as well. And if you get their cell number, even text them just a reminder, hey, I'm still interested. Anything opens, let me know as soon as something becomes available. So it's all about being persistent.
Yeah. Do you recommend obtaining some kind of like REO certification? I know out there, there's different types of certified distressed property experts, et cetera, out there. Like there's short sale, foreclosure, resource certification. What are your thoughts on that?
Hugely so, right? Because these things do matter. And these weren't around really when I was first licensed back in early 2000s, but now they're much more commonplace, right? Whether you're a buyer specialist or a listing specialist or a distressed property specialist, you want to be a distressed property specialist, right? And bank REO specialist. So that's where you definitely want to get that certification. Anything like that is just going to help you. The more certifications you have, the more legitimate you'll look, and I think the better overall chances you'll be of becoming an REO agent.
Yeah, and it also forces that continuous education mindset, right? You're going to continue to stay up to date on foreclosure laws, market trends, best practices out there. So,
Yeah, no, I
so
totally agree.
yeah, and another thing I want to make people aware of too with these REO properties, you need a system in place to manage these REO properties. You got to show that, going to those asset management platforms that you're capable of managing these things, because sometimes you have to manage the repairs yourself, maintenance such as cutting lawn because they're sitting vacant for months, and any occupancy issues for these REO properties. Now, in the back end, I believe they get reimbursed, the REO agents, but anything to share there?
Yeah, so you can front load these repairs. You could be paying for a lot of these repairs up front. Talking with Jeff Walker in the past, he's a big REO agent in Pennsylvania. He's fronted as much as 20, 30K in repairs for these banks, and then they reimburse him as they go along. So sometimes you're really out and you got to have some funds available, whether it's credit cards, whatever you have in order to pay for these repairs. But you also have to go, remember this, you have to go weekly to the property, take pictures, make sure the property is being taken care of, that the yard's being mowed, maintenance on that, there's no leaky pipes going on. And sometimes you can be great distances between the property and you. So if you have somebody local there that you can send, say every couple days or once a week, take some pictures for you, take a video, send it through, and then you don't have to go out there and do that. That's something that could be hugely helpful for you as well. I mean, that's something because you're talking about traveling an hour plus each way, which he has had to do in the past, Jeff Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something you don't necessarily want to be doing every single week, going to multiple properties.
Yeah. So if you demonstrate all these great things, you're a great, you're organized, you can do the repairs or have people that do the repairs. You get in front of some of these REO platforms. You just got to continue to deliver on results, and your reputation is going to be built. And I'm assuming the banks just offer more properties for you to list for them. It's just you got to focus on knowing the right numbers, speed and accuracy, and our years of experience working with REO agents. That's something we both recognized, where these seasoned REO specialists, let's call them, they know their numbers, what the as is property is. If you do this much repairs, how much it is. If you do a full blown everything new rehab, how much it will sell for. So the market knowledge and the REO agents that we've dealt with in the past has been very impressive compared to maybe an other average agent.
Oh, that is for sure. Big time impressive, to the point where they're telling us values, and it's usually within a couple of thousand of what they're telling us of the values. They just get to know the areas pretty well. They know how to comp. They're usually the one doing the BPO, the broker's price opinion, on the property, giving it to the bank. Then the bank verifies it with an actual appraisal, and then they go with whatever number they decide to go with. Usually the BPO number is going to be lower because the agent wants to make sure this thing sells quick, because the bank wants to sell it quickly, right? And not only that, but if it sits for 90 days, they might pull it from that REO agent and give it to another one. So then you don't end up getting the commission on it, on the resale. So you're doing everything you can, but sometimes your appraisal comes in higher and they want to go with that higher number, and you sit on it, and then you work with them and hope to keep that.
I figure we'll wrap up this video with a few things that kind of take away what we talked about and we've seen working with agents over the years. But I think the key traits of successful REO agents are strong negotiating skills, right? We work with the banks, lenders, and buyers to, close these deals efficiently. You got to have market knowledge, as we mentioned earlier, understanding property values and what work needs to be done to attain those property values and trends. Is it a declining market, a flat market, a rising market? And then you got to be persistent and organized, right? You're going to have to manage these REO properties. It could be demanding. It could be a long commute away for some of them. So you have to have the attention to detail to get that done. However, if you have those 3 or 4 key traits, you're going to be a successful REO agent. And it's going to be a nice niche market for you of a steady properties to help with the bank sell. And then you build a lot of relationships with actual investor buyers that are continuously looking to buy properties, such as Paul and myself. So We've done a lot of repeat business with REO agents in the past that we met from a single REO auction property. So if you guys thought this video was helpful, go watch the next video that we have on how to buy REO bank-owned properties. And I'll put that video link in the description below. And if you haven't done so, please smash the like button if you got a lot of value of this video. If not, we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.